stories in just a few minutes, but first, at the age of 12, Kathy Shelton was allegedly raped by a 41-year-old man, and Hillary Clinton defended that man accused of sexually assaulting her. Here's her story.
At 12 years old, Hillary put me through something that you've never put a 12-year-old through.
In 1975, Hillary Clinton, then a public defense attorney, she defended a 41-year-old man that was accused of raping a 12-year-old girl.
It would be very hard for me not to walk up and smack her. I know that sounds mean. I mean, she put me through a lot at 12 years old.
Her client she represented got him off, and she's seen laughing on 2 separate occasions.
Took a lot of different things. I have been fighting. She passed. Where's my face?
She hasn't even thought about even coming to me and saying, I'm sorry. You know, that'd be nice after what she said on tape. What happens if that daughter of yours, if that would have been her? I mean, you would have protected her where you don't know me, so I'm be scrapped, do you?
And earlier today, I spoke to Kathy Shelton and her attorney, Candace Jackson. Watch this. Let's go back. You're 12 years old. You went through a vicious, violent rape. You were in a coma as a result for 5 days, stitched up. As a result, you can't have children?
99% chance that I can't.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much saying no.
Yeah. And you had that. You learned that at the time.
Yes, the doctor came in and told me that before I was released.
Mm-hmm. Walk us through what happened in your case when you were 12 years old.
My mom was sending me to church with some friends that was a couple blocks away, and I wanted to ride my bicycle because it was still light. And after it was over, she was going to pick me and the bicycle up. But before I made it there, I was yanked off the bicycle by 2 guys, which one was underage, so they're not able to bring him up. Mm-hmm. I was taken on a road. I was trying to get out. First, I told them I wasn't going with them, and I was going to try to leave, and they wouldn't let me. They yanked me off the bicycle, and I was taken out on a road somewhere. And by that time, pretty much my clothes was ripped off of me, and I was screaming and crying, and I couldn't get nobody's attention. It was like this road, all I could see was fields, and they raped me there, and they beat me so bad that I think they thought I was dead when they left. But I remember him saying, "You like it, don't you? You like it. You want more of it."
You're 12 years old. You were in a coma for 5 days after?
Yes, sir. I crawled to a porch that I still don't know where it is to this day, and they were coming back to finish me off, and this lady turned her porch light on. I was told it was a lady. Is how I know that. I have no idea who it is today, and that's what saved me. She got their tag number, and I fell out at that time, and I woke up 5 days later.
And it was so brutally violent. You needed stitches. You were brutally raped.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hillary Clinton said she did a favor for a friend to be the attorney for the accused in this case. And as we just played, I had him take a polygraph test, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs. And then she laughed. She was bragging about getting this guy off. Now, he faced 30 years to life. He ended up getting off with time served. So my question to you is, when you hear those words and her bragging about that case, a fascinating case as she calls it, what is she communicating there?
That she's going to win her first case, whatever it takes, if she has to lie, cheat, or steal.
Doesn't it also imply that she thinks he's guilty?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Which forever destroyed my faith.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She thinks he's guilty, or she wouldn't have said that.
As part of the court filings in this case...
I don't think she thinks. She knows.
She knew?
Yes, she knew he was guilty.
As part of the court filings, she filed an affidavit, and she wrote that she had been informed, this is talking about you, the victim, was a girl that was emotionally unstable, had a tendency to seek out older men and engage in, quote, fantasizing. I'd also been told by an expert in child psychology that children in early adolescence tend to exaggerate or romanticize sexual experiences, and adolescents in disorganized families, such as complainants, are even more prone to exaggerate behavior.
My mom was a very strict mother on me. Matter of fact, when I was 18, it was almost impossible to do anything then, but at that time, after what happened to me, I didn't want to do anything.
Understandable.
All of those things, Sean, that Hillary Clinton put in that affidavit were intended to force Kathy to undergo further psychiatric evaluations and interrogations. They were all things that were intended to portray her as a liar, someone who made up this rape, that if there was a rape, that if there was sex, it was consensual at her age as a virgin of 12 years old. And all of those tactics are things that you would never expect some sort of women's rights advocate to engage in, because
that blaming the victim.
That is blaming the victim.
And we have rape shield laws that prohibit this.
Almost every state now would prohibit those tactics, and you would expect someone like Hillary Clinton, some sort of self-proclaimed feminist who cares about women and children, to not need a rape shield law in order to zealously defend a client without engaging in the tactics of blaming the victim.
Kathy, obviously this has impacted you your whole life. What do you want the American people to hear out of this? It's pretty obvious she knew this guy was guilty.
Just about every speech that I've seen Hillary do, she says, I'm for women and children. And if she was for children, she would have not put me through what I went through.
Last question. This election is in 26 days. She's running as, isn't it time for a woman to be president of the United States?
Not like that. The world won't last with her in it, because she's going to lie, cheat, and steal to get what she wants.
And also tonight, over the course of several decades, Bill Clinton has faced numerous allegations of sexual misconduct, and Hillary Clinton has been accused of attacking the women who have made these accusations about her husband. In 1978, Juanita Broaddrick claimed that she was raped in a hotel room by the future president. In 1993, while serving as a volunteer at the White House, Kathleen Willey accused Bill Clinton of groping and fondling and grabbing and touching and kissing her against her will. And in 1994, Paula Jones sued Bill Clinton for allegedly exposing himself to her, resulting in an $850,000 settlement. Here are their stories.
Sexual harassment is shocking enough without having the President of the United States accused of it.
What Mr. Clinton did to me was wrong.
Then he kissed me on my mouth and pulled me closer to him.
You begged him to stop?
Yes. And then he took my hand and he put it on him.
I have said that nothing improper happened.
Bill Clinton raped me, and Hillary Clinton threatened me.
I am mystified and disappointed by this turn of events.
I have been telling the truth.
Before I testified in the Paula Jones case, a stranger approached me, mentioned my 13-year-old cat who had disappeared, my tires which had been vandalized, and asked how my children by name were, and said, "You're just not getting the message."
This is about what Hillary Clinton is doing to women like me so that she can attain the presidency. She wants us all to be quiet.
The great story here is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
And she came over to me, took a hold of my hand, and said, "I've heard so much about you." She was just holding on to my hand. She didn't, because I had started to turn away from her. And she held on to my hand, and she said, "Do you understand everything that you do?" I mean, cold chills went up my spine.
In the end, I know I will get my good name and reputation back.
That's the first time I became afraid of that woman.
And earlier I spoke with Juanita Broaddrick, Paula Jones, and Kathleen Willey. Take a look. Thank you all for being here.
Oh, thanks.
My pleasure. Take it here.
You were invited to the second debate, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and you all came willingly. You wanted to go. Why?
I wanted to support Donald Trump, first and foremost. But I think that the thing that we wanted to get over, the thing that's most important to me and to us, is to tell the women, especially the younger women in this country, and the older women, and everybody, that everybody in the mainstream press
is calling all of Bill Clinton's crimes infidelities. Rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment are not infidelities. They are crimes and they are misdemeanors. His wife is covering for him. No champion of women attacks the victims of sexual assaults and rapes.
Paul?
The same thing. I just want to remind the young people that doesn't know our stories and maybe have seen us for the first time, and I wanted them to see that we were there and why we were there, and that hopefully that would have made a statement.
Juanita?
Yeah, I think it's really important for the millennials to know, those that weren't born when I came forward after Bill Clinton raped me, and those that were too young to understand what we went through, especially the time that it was back in the 70s. It was very hard for someone to come forward. And so, yes, I did go to the Trump debate. I thought that we might possibly be able to bring this out and influence people and be able to tell them that Hillary is not for all women. Hillary is only for one woman, and that's herself.
I think you raise a really good point, because I think there is this whole generation of people that do not know your stories.
Right.
Over the years, I've had the opportunity to get to know all of you and interview all of you, and really, I think the more important thing today is, considering this is even in the news today, with Donald Trump, has the mainstream media been receptive to asking you three about your stories?
Oh, definitely not.
Nobody?
No.
Nobody's asked.
No. Nobody has asked. The New York Times never called you?
No.
Not until we went into the Trump spin room.
Okay, well, they were there.
Yeah.
In other words, because this is a really important point, because they're all reporting today, Donald Trump did this, or kissed this person or that person. You're saying that none of these media outlets contacted you in this election campaign?
Nothing like CNN.
To tell your story.
Or NBC, or ABC, or CBS.
What, with 26 days to go, and they haven't contacted you? Does that reek of politics to you?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Should tell you something.
Yeah. Well, let me give you the opportunity for those people that have never heard your story. Well, Juanita, we'll start with you.
Back in 1978, when I was working for Bill Clinton's campaign for governor, I was raped by Bill Clinton. I was viciously raped. And then 3 weeks later, when I happened to be at a fundraiser for him, but I didn't attend the fundraiser, I was just going there to hand in information to tell them I was no longer going to volunteer for the campaign. Hillary personally threatened me.
Let me go back to the assault. You're saying you were a nurse at the time, correct?
Yes.
And you wanted him to be governor?
Yes.
At the time. You were working for his campaign?
Right.
So he invited you for coffee?
Yes. It was a long story after he made a campaign tour around to my nursing home. I was trying to explain to him, Sean, about what the nursing homes were going through, the